Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about what this year, 2020, can teach us about the last 10. Because there's a really important lesson to be learned in 2020, although I'm not sure it has been learned by the American people. That lesson's pretty simple. Don't trust politicians when it comes to science. They will make stuff up. We've seen it all year. What have you heard so far? Well, soon all those cases, it'll be 0 cases. It'll disappear like a miracle. It'll disappear once summer comes, once it warms up. Can't impact the kids. It's just something we have to go through, have to let it run its course. It's naturally occurring. That's what the politicians have been saying. What have the experts been saying? They've been pretty consistent on their messaging. This is something we have to pay attention to. We have to act, or it's going to get out of hand. Yeah. That's kind of what happened. Now, those who choose to believe the politicians will say, their models weren't exactly right. Yeah, models are only as good as the data you put into them, and early on, you don't have the best data. Aside from that, when once a model becomes public and people see it, a lot of times they'll adjust their behavior because of that. Like, wow, we really don't want to do that. So they'll take small steps for themselves, which will change the outcome of that model. Okay. The end goal there, the end thing that everybody should learn is you can't trust politicians. They will always put the economy, their pocketbook, over you. It seems like it should go without saying because they do it all the time, and everybody understands this on other subjects. But when it comes to science, for some reason, they trust the government, which just, I don't think I'll ever understand that. Let me give you some facts about the last 10 years. 2019 was one of the hottest 3 years on record since records began in the 1800s. The 2 hotter years were 2015 and 2016. The 6 hottest years on record are the last 6. Surface sea temperatures, second highest on record. Air temperatures over the poles, second highest. Sea levels have risen to new record-breaking heights for the 8th year in a row. Glaciers are melting at an alarming rate for the 32nd year in a row. What are the politicians telling you? No, don't worry. It's just something we have to go through. It's natural. Don't worry about it. Not going to be a big deal. It'll disappear on its own. It'll fix itself. All that sounds familiar, right? How's that working out for us? Not so good. Messaging from scientists, from the experts, has been pretty consistent. We have to act or it's going to get out of hand. We have to act or this is going to get out of hand. And once it gets out of hand, it's like an 18-wheeler. You can hit the brakes all you want, but it doesn't stop on a dime. It keeps going. This is something we have to act on. Now, we have to get people in government, in high positions, who are willing to act on this immediately. It needs to be a pretty big priority. This needs to be one of the considerations that you take into account when you're considering your vote. If a politician is telling you that none of this is true, that it's a hoax, it's the same scenario. They're putting the economy, short-term gains, their pocketbook, over you. I hope the American people learn this lesson. Because if we wait, like we have with the current issue, by the time we get to the point where everybody knows that the politicians lied, where everybody is well aware of it because they can see it with their own eyes, it's going to be too late. It's going to get way out of hand. It is going to be a disaster movie. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.